Did you read the disclaimer?
Yes!
It often seems like every animated show in the West has been trying to copy The Simpsons for the last 25 years. I mean, The Simpsons is just enormous. As much as many of us would like to see it end its 28-year runtime on a more dignified note, it still gets a few good laughs out of most of us.
I'm a Napa person.
So, I've gone through all 552 episodes and put together my top 10 best Simpsons episodes of all time. Number 10. Sex, Pies, and Idiot Scrapes.
Homer, take the taser out of your pants.
No, it looks cool.
The concept for this episode is just gold. Homer and Ned team up together to be bounty hunters. That's the coolest concept for The Simpsons ever. I think they could have made a good season out of purely these two working together. There's a strong difference between classic Simpsons and modern Simpsons. And this episode represents everything that is good about modern Simpsons episodes. They've got this sense of good-willed charm to the jokes, yet they're still really clever, polished, and funny.
It's one thing he didn't count on. My reckless indifference to human life.
And we get a lot more character development and creativity. It's another episode with so many quotable moments that you'll be remembering quotes long after you've forgotten other relics in the late seasons.
Kindly deeds done for free. Kindly deeds done for free.
The only disappointment I have with this late season episode is that it's over so soon. You can argue The Simpsons do whatever they want in the later seasons, but sometimes that really works. There's no holds barred on pieces like this. This is an absolute classic episode, and I would definitely recommend it.
We're gonna put you away for a long, long time.
Make it life and you've got a deal.
Number 9. Lisa versus Malibu Stacy. Lisa realizes after her role model Malibu Stacy can finally talk that she's the equivalent to a shallow housewife from the 40s. She then sets out to complain directly to the company for making a bad role model for growing girls. It's another of Lisa's activism episodes where she goes out to try and change the world.
I want you to hear what Malibu Stacy is telling a generation of little girls.
Thinking too much gives you wrinkles.
We get some brilliant scenes from Abe Simpson in this episode as well, as he tries to rekindle his sense of youth.
Hey, this ain't so bad.
Lisa tracks down the doll's creator and teams up with her to make a new role model for growing girls. Lisa has always demonstrated one point particularly well, and that is that one person can make a difference, and can also be what inspires others to change.
Trust in yourself and you can achieve anything.
Early Simpsons particularly is very clever at posing a problem to its viewer subtly, and not giving a direct answer to them. It instead asks the viewer, what do you think is the answer to this problem? Do you think there's an answer at all? And like a lot of other episodes, this one got me thinking just as much when I was young, as well as when I was an adult. Funny and thought-provoking, I recommend giving this one a watch. Number 8. Treehouse of Horror 15. The Ned Zone. I laugh more in the 7-minute short than I do in the majority of the episodes. Another brilliant concept. Ned gets premonitions of people's deaths and has to shoot Homer to save the town.
Flanders is pointing a gun at me. You couldn't even shoot me by accident, even if I whacked the barrel like this. Blip, blip, blip.
Every moment of this episode just has perfect timing. I personally think Homer and Ned have this perfect chemistry as a comedy duo, despite being terminal opposites.
Press destruct button.
And this Halloween short just uses them together perfectly. Perfect beginning, perfect jokes, and perfect conclusion. Give this short a watch if you haven't seen it. It's 7 minutes of non-stop laughs.
Oh, you stupid son of a...
Number 7. Homer and Apu. Apu's gas station food gives Homer food poisoning.
I'm
continuously.
Must finish.
Okay, £10.
I love when a show is able to repeat a joke and somehow make it even more funny after each repeat. I personally thought Apu was one of the best characters in the show.
It's just between me and you. Smashed hat.
Until he married Manjula and started doing nothing but complaining about how much he hated having a family. I don't get it. Is there something funny about that I'm missing? It's unpleasant to someone in a family, and it's unpleasant to someone without a family. On that note, if I had to pick the worst episode, with one exception, we'll get to that later, I'd actually go with 8 Misbehavin'. It's just pure spitefulness, and all the miseries about having a family without any of the positives.
Listen, I'll die when I want to.
It remains the best advertisement for birth control I've ever seen. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I didn't laugh once in this episode. Manjula is constantly nasty to Apu. Their kids are portrayed as nothing but nuisances. The only person who tries to discuss the positives of a family to Apu is Ned, and Apu tells him off.
Shut up!
It's just... ugh. I don't like it. Anyway, back to number 7, Homer and Apu. Originally, Apu is just a warm, simple minor character. He even breaks into a catchy song halfway through.
I'm with me.
I just really enjoy how seamlessly he melds into the Simpson family, and everyone just accepts him as a family member. It's charming, funny, and incredibly clever. We even get a fantastic guest star from James Wood as he replaces Apu at the Quickie Mart.
Don't jerk me around, fella.
This episode just keeps adding on and bettering itself, eventually ending on a high note of Apu diving in front of a bullet to save James Woods, and tops it all off with my kind of funny but charming ending that The Simpsons is so great at.
Hey, there's still time. Let's hug him again.
A classic episode, I highly recommend it.
Not me.
Forget the Quickie Mart. Goodbye to Quickie Mart. Who needs a Quickie Mart?
Not me.
Number 6. Last exit to Springfield. Homer becomes a union leader, and Burns tries desperately to reason with him. Every moment is just another charming joke. There's this really beautiful underlining tone throughout it as well, where Lisa has to deal with ugly braces and ends up singing to keep the morale up of the striking workers. Burns tries everything that you'd expect from him to stop Homer, from hiring goons to hiring World War I veterans. I believe there's a deep message to this episode, but it's so thoughtfully seamed into the jokes that you don't feel bludgeoned over the head with it. And the episode ends with a beautiful ending that left me both laughing and touched. It just has that heart to it that makes some Simpson episodes timeless in television. It's among the most memorable episodes of all time.
Smithers, I'm beginning to think that Homer Simpson was not the brilliant tactician I thought he was.
Number 5. The Frying Game. Homer starts a private security company, and that's essentially the whole concept. This is just the most quotable, memorable episode I can think of.
Silent alarm activated!
When I think of the best of The Simpsons mid-season, I usually think of this episode. Homer's character really is best when he's the bumbling but well-meaning guy, given strangely large amounts of social power.
I'm chief of police!
And unlike most episodes, Homer actually succeeds in his job. In fact, he dramatically cleans up the crime rates of Springfield. He's so successful, in fact, that the Mafia hunts him down in retaliation. It has an exciting midpoint and an exciting end. This episode is among the absolute best.
I don't get it. I finally did a job where I wasn't lazy, stupid, or corrupt. And now I'm going to get killed for it!
Number 4. Holidays of Future Past. I'm generally not a fan of the future episodes, but this is the best one by far. This episode was actually originally intended to be the season finale of the Simpsons series, but surprisingly enough, the series was renewed. Again. You can't go through this episode without a pause button. Just the amount of creativity and originality poured into this episode is unbelievable. The constant changes, the thoughtful choices in who does what and who's with who. We get this imaginative melding of Futurama and Simpsons all in one. I admit there aren't as many laughs as there normally are, but it's just an episode that's just so fascinating to watch all the way through. It's honestly the only future episode where I see this hint of realism to the future with that warmth that accompanies the latest Simpsons episode. So often nowadays, we get shows that just picture the future as the same old dark, bleak, depressing world that's been overcome by human greed, corrupt governments, and the worst aspects of society, blah 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 blah. Whether it's realistic or not, it's a concept that gets pretty old after a while. Here's a new idea. How about a future where humans prevail and overcome their worst aspects? Whoa, what a bizarre concept! Yahoo! This is the warm point in between. It's charming, it has an interesting message, and would have made a great final episode for The Simpsons. But I think we all knew that wasn't going to happen. Number 3. I love Lisa. We not only get tons of funny moments in this episode, but a demonstration of the Simpson writers' skill in doing drama as well. There's just this mysterious timelessness about this episode. The strange thing about it is that it's one of the few episodes I could perfectly understand at both 7 years old and as an adult. In early school years, you either knew Ralph or you were Ralph.
The children are right to laugh at you, Ralph. These things couldn't cut butter.
Part of what makes it interesting is that we get a look at the personal challenges from both Ralph and Lisa's point of view. Ralph reaches out wholeheartedly to the first affection he's given, and Lisa is caught trying to spare his feelings. It's beautiful, just because it's almost a story of a tragedy that can't be resolved. Ralph is never going to be socially acceptable, but it also has the most beautiful answer to that tragedy.
Well, can it?
Ralph's true beauty comes from him performing his passion. It has exactly what early seasons do best. A very thought-provoking but subtle narrative that leaves you thinking not just for days, but sometimes weeks. And the ending is another ending that is just the most perfect closing they could have chosen. It is a charming and beautiful episode.
Aw, thanks. I've got something for you. Let's be friends. It says B, and there's a picture of a bee on it. I thought you'd like it.
Number 2. The Burns and the Bees. This is just a personal favorite of mine. Burns isn't just bad, he's bad to a comical level that makes comic book villains look empathetic.
Sir, were those real bullets?
Yes. Was that a real gorilla?
No.
I see.
It's even more funny watching him try to be good, because being bad just comes so naturally to him. That good nature is just like this bizarre alien concept to him, and this episode plays that up perfectly. This episode just takes me back to as early as Season 3, as every moment I watch seems to be another classic quotable line. There's no deep message to this one that I saw, but we're really just getting Homer, Burns, and Lisa at their very best. I personally thought Season 20 was an unexpected peak in The Simpsons' long late season flatline. This is an absolute classic episode, and I guarantee you'll get a few laughs out of it.
I cannot be stopped. Kill his acorns and make him watch.
Before we get to number 1, a mention should go out to what is by a wide margin the worst Simpsons episode ever created. Lisa Goes Gaga. Oh god, it's like fingernails scraping on a chalkboard.
And the song ended right here.
It's just awful. It craps all over everything Lisa stands for, and rewrites her character as a sheep rather than as an individual, and makes all of Springfield in rapt godlike worship of a shallow pop star. Its premise and ending is just contrived corporate airy-fairy bullshit. Do not watch this episode. It does not deserve the sales or traffic. But anyway, enough about the worst. On to number 1.
Well, let me put it this way, Jerry. Timber!
There's both perfect drama and perfect comedy in this episode, but they also somehow manage to question the very foundation of American culture at the same time. It addresses human corruption and whether to have faith in your country at all. This episode is about all of us living to see democracy work. Lisa pours her heart into an essay about the roots of democracy, and we see her genuine belief in the American people as she writes it. But when they travel to Washington, she sees the reality of the system she believed in with all her heart. This episode felt like the making of Lisa's character.
The truth must be told.
Her heart is broken when she sees the reality of not just politics, but the imperfections of people in general. And that dashing of faith in government is something that many of us have felt and had to come to terms with, often at an alarmingly early age, just like Lisa. It's the most powerful episode in The Simpsons I could find. It's incredibly clever, but still incredibly charming and funny. But most of all, it has incredible heart behind it.
I'm sorry, Dad. I couldn't think of a nice way to say America stinks.
Part of what is beautiful about this episode is, although it doesn't have an answer, it poses an idea, and that idea is, sometimes the system can work if we work together to make it happen. It's among the most beautiful and important messages The Simpsons has ever given people, and I personally think it is the best Simpsons episode ever done. This episode is a game changer for The Simpsons. It is a must-see, and I cannot recommend it enough. Honestly, as much as many people complain that The Simpsons is still going, a part of me is glad it's still on the air. The Simpsons is practically a part of Western culture, and we still get a ton of charming and funny episodes that are something unique and completely different from what the original seasons were. I've thoroughly enjoyed most of them, and I'll probably continue to enjoy them for years to come. Got a favorite episode that I didn't mention? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Nice word food.